Alright guys, Darren from FBA Elite and welcome back to another video. So in this week's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at what some YouTubers call the easiest way to make money or the easiest way to start Amazon FBA. Now that is quite a bold claim, so I thought it's a good thing for us to take a closer look and see whether this potential approach has any issues. So I've been making videos about Amazon FBA and have been selling on Amazon since 2018. So coming up 4 years now with this YouTube channel. And honestly, sometimes we do struggle for new ideas week in, week out. So we do exactly what we do with Amazon FBA. We jump onto YouTube instead of Amazon. We take a look what other people are doing and then look at that and think, can we make this better? Can we put a different twist on it so we stand out? So often I'll come onto YouTube, I'll go to the search bar, I'll pop in something like Amazon FBA UK, and I'll see what the other people are up to. Now, one thing I've noticed quite recently, I think this has been the case for a while, but it's only something that's really kind of clicked as I've been looking through these search results, is a lot of people are now talking about arbitrage. So if I scroll down here, you'll see a few people mentioning it. So the first one here, Amazon FBA, retail arbitrage. You'll hear people call it retail arbitrage or RA, or online arbitrage, which is OA. The only difference is with retail, you're buying in the physical shops. With online, you're buying online. And this, I think, is this video here, the easiest way to start Amazon FBA from scratch. That got me interested to actually watch that video. So this video isn't anything against this creator, but it's more just highlighting to you guys the potential pitfalls of this model, as it is not without risk if you take this approach. So let's dive into the video. Let's actually explain a bit what retail and online arbitrage are, talk you through the process, and then explains the risks that you guys need to be aware of. So arbitrage is effectively buying something from somewhere and then reselling it pretty much instantly or in a very short period of time somewhere else. So you might find a product cheap in one of the high street stores, you buy that product, you then send it to Amazon where it's been sold at a higher price, and then you make some profit. So that is arbitrage. So what people will often do is either physically go to the stores, so they'll go places like Argos, Dunelm Mill, they might even go to the supermarkets and check out some of the clearance section. So for example, I've got a few websites open here. We've got Argos, you can go through their clearance section to see what things they're selling. So I would generally look for something that has a strong brand name, because then it's likely to be sold on Amazon. If it's one of their own products, then it's probably not going to be sold on Amazon. So always keep that in mind. So for example, you might want to see how these Ryobi drill and sander starter kit, how much that's selling for on Amazon, if it exists on Amazon, and if it does, whether it's actually selling on Amazon. And if it's selling at a higher price, potentially you can buy it and make money through the arbitrage method. You've also got sites like the supermarkets do the same thing, places like Dunelm Mill, which have a whole range of things that you can look through. And one of the sites I quite like is Hot UK Deals, because you'll see offers from all of the different websites on this site. And actually one of the things that I saw earlier as an example to show you guys is listed here. Let me just scroll down to see if I can find it. Here we go. The Harris Ultimate Handy Hold Smart Paint Kettle. So basically something to put your paint in. So this is currently being sold for £1.60. Let's click through to the listing so you guys can actually see it. It's been sold for £1.60 in Dunelm at the moment. So you might have found this on the Dunelm website. You might have found it by going in store, or you might have found it on Hot Deals and then clicked through. So you can currently pick this up at £1.60. But if we go to Amazon, it's currently being sold for £6 on Amazon. So there is an arbitrage opportunity there, providing all of the calculations work out, you know, the shipping fees and the FBA fees that you'll be paying, they all stack up. Or you might want to try this with FBM, but you can use FBA or FBM for this, but I'm going to come back to that later on in the video. But you can see here, there is a clear arbitrage opportunity, and I've got Helium 10 installed. So it's going to bring up the sales graph here, or the BSR tracker. And we can see here, every time this blue line comes down, that means there's been sales. So this product is consistently selling at the moment. So the chances are, if you did buy some of these products and you sent them to Amazon and you listed at the price it's currently at or just below that price, there's a good chance you will sell through and make a profit. All, of course, keeping in mind that the calculations work out in terms of shipment and stuff like that. So you can see here, there is proof of sales. And at the moment, you know you can source it at a lower price, and there's proof of sales at that higher price point. So that is the arbitrage opportunity that's available to you. Now, this business model appeals to people, and I completely understand, because when you talk about traditional private label, which is buying a few hundreds of product from some random supplier in China, then waiting weeks or months to import that product, then actually having to create the listing and get the listing established with PPC, versus just going to your local supermarket or jumping onto a clearance section, ordering a couple of these products, sending them to Amazon and making a couple of pounds. You haven't even got to do any marketing because, as we can see, these listings are already selling. So the model has huge appeal, and I completely get why people want to do this, especially as a starter point. Some people use this to build their capital before fully going into FBA. Now, or should I say private label FBA. Now, there are three big issues with this. The third one is the major one, but the first two that I want to bring up is, the first is ROI. So with private label, we normally aim for between 80 to 100% ROI. With this, from what I've seen and the research I've done, a 30% ROI is kind of what you would be a good target. So for every £10 invested, you might make £3 of profit, which isn't actually too bad because your capital's only exposed for a much shorter period of time. But certainly the ROI is a lot lower than what is available with private label if things go well. The second issue is that retail arbitrage or online arbitrage is not passive in any way, shape or form. You know, spending all of this time finding these deals on a daily basis and then shipping it to Amazon on a daily basis and then selling it and repeat the process. Trying to scale this business is very, very difficult. So it's great as a side hustle or if you're trying to build your initial capital, but it's certainly not a passive model like FBA can be. So for example, I could be making easily a few £1,000 profit per month with spending maybe 1 to 2 hours per month managing that business. And that's being completely honest and realistic with what is possible once things are up and running. Yes, there is a lot of legwork up front, I'm not denying that, but it does have the potential to be passive, whereas retail or online arbitrage does not have that passive potential. And the final thing that I want to bring to your attention is actually arbitrage is not a good fit for Amazon, because the way that most people do it and the way that most of the videos on YouTube teach people how to do it is against Amazon's terms. Now, the last thing you want to do is use arbitrage to try and build your account, get your account suspended, and then you can't actually make any progress, because it's not like you can open a second account of Amazon because they're going to ban it straight away as soon as they make that connection with that first account. So if you do want to build your capital, don't do it the high risk way, because you might lose the potential to sell on Amazon forever. So let me take you through a few of the threads on the Amazon help forums, because these are from people that know what they're talking about, they're experienced sellers, and also threads from people that have actually been impacted by this because they tried to start online or retail arbitrage and weren't fully aware of the terms. So this post here is really, really useful as it sums up very nicely what you can and cannot do with retail arbitrage on Amazon. And on some of the other tabs, I'm going to show you what happens. So to put it in simple terms, here we go. I'm just going to read out these first 3 points. You cannot buy a new product in a retail shop and then sell that same product new on Amazon, because it is no longer new. Once it leaves the shop, it is technically secondhand, even if it is unopened. You cannot list new products for sale on Amazon unless you have purchased them from the manufacturer or authorized distributor and have invoices to prove this. Retail seats are not acceptable. Most brick and mortar wholesalers such as Booker's, Macro, even places like Costco are not acceptable to Amazon as authorized distributors. So the issue is people will buy these products in places like Argos or Daniel Mill. They'll ship them to Amazon and sell them as new. But the problem is the products aren't new. So when Amazon requests proof that these products are new and the retail arbitrage seller comes back and says, well, here's my purchase receipt from Argos or Sainsbury's or Dunelm, Amazon goes, no, that's not acceptable. It needs to be from an authorized wholesaler or distributor. And that is the big problem. So yes, there are some people making money by doing retail arbitrage, but that's because they haven't been flagged yet. And often it's people that have an account that is quite old, because new accounts at the moment are getting treated or getting flagged much earlier. So you need to be super aware of this. I'm also going to show you the view of another experienced seller. Yes, you can do it. Many sellers do it and get away with it. However, if Amazon asks you for proof of valid supply chain, they will reject the receipts you get from high street stores. If you can't prove a valid supply chain, then you can't defend an inauthentic item claim. And that is something that can definitely happen. And if we go back to the previous tab and scroll down, I think one of the guys gave an example of potentially what could happen here. So let me give you an example. You sell beauty products. Okay, let's say you go into Boots and they are selling L'Oreal Pink Lippy at half price. You buy a dozen of them. You go onto Amazon and you see the cheapest L'Oreal Pink Lippy is £10 and you only paid £5 for yours, so you sell yours at £9, undercutting the nearest competitor. That competitor gets her product direct from L'Oreal, so complains to Amazon that you're selling an unauthorized product. Amazon then suspends your account and asks for you for invoices from L'Oreal. You can't supply these because you bought them from Boots. Now comes the fun part. Before the competitor complained, you actually sold 8 of your pink lippies and the money is in your Amazon account. As you have now been suspended, you can't access that money, so you've bought stock from Boots, sold it on Amazon, but have nothing to show for it. The simple of the moral of the story is steer clear of retail arbitrage unless you're selling it as used. So that is one thing to keep in mind. You are allowed to sell retail arbitrage products as used, but you cannot sell them as new because Amazon want that proof of supply chain and they have to be invoices. They cannot be receipts from high street stores. Now, even if someone didn't submit a complaint against your product, Amazon are actually doing this automatically anyway. So the suspension is automatic and routine for new sellers. Amazon pick 3 items at random from your stock and ask for invoices to prove that they are genuine and purchased from acceptable suppliers to prevent fakes and stolen goods from being sold on here. If you buy from retail, those goods immediately become used in Amazon's eyes, even if they're still in the original packaging. On this next tab, we have an example of the letter that people receive or the automatic suspension email that people receive from Amazon. And it says here, you have to be able to provide invoices that provide authenticity to the products that you're trying to sell on Amazon. So that is my big issue with becoming an Amazon seller and then using the arbitrage method. It's just so high risk that you can put your account in a serious jeopardy, not just short term, but long term. And also you have the potential to lose money if you do manage to sell some, but then get suspended before Amazon have actually paid out. Now, of course, keep all of this in mind that I am biased towards the private label model, but I'm just trying to warn you guys against the pitfalls and dangers of going the RA or OA model. Now, if you're considering the private label model, I invite you to join me on the FBAelite.com forums. They are completely free. We've got forums covering all areas of Amazon FBA on there. We've also got lots of resources and discounts for different tools that will help you with your Amazon FBA journey as well. If you found this video useful, I'd appreciate it. Hit the like button. If you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the forums.